Hello. Hey. All right. You should be coming in. All right. How's it going, guys? Right. And let me fire up the server. So it will be 30,000. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's wait a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks. Yeah, it's been raining for quite a while. I guess a month, I guess, in Paris. So yeah. Yeah, if possible, I kind of prefer to have sunny days, right? Yeah, it's been a while. I'm wondering that like usually if we do Tuesday and Thursday, then that would be like one day in between. While that while that's from Thursday to Tuesday, that would be five, six, 4. Yeah, 4 days in between. So we have like short gap and long gap. I'm not sure if like we should move to maybe on Tuesday and then Friday. Not so sure. And yeah, I guess like for Christmas, uh yeah, we will see. I think I will take some day off next week and maybe the week of Christmas, and then we can probably so for the next one will be like Thursday, and then the next one might be 2 weeks later. I'm not so sure, so I need to check the calendar, and I will make uh the the slot for reminder. And yeah, just uh yeah, Merry Christmas. Maybe. Yeah, just hope you enjoying the holiday, and we will see. And I guess like during the time, I might still do something about it. So I might still code a little bit. I'm not so sure. Otherwise, I will just find another project to work on. But yeah, I mean, I think we had quite some good progress so far, and yeah. So okay, so let's start. So I think let's do a quick catch up about what we have from the last time. So I guess we are not doing a lot. So manually, what was the last one? I think the last one was this interactive shell after terminate the Nuxt server, and I think it's working well so far. And here is a few fix a few like small fix, and we fixed the dev tool. So we got a PR. Wait, here, nope, here. So we got a PR that's tell us like teach us like you can set a you basically set a attribute about this two attribute to the iframe, and it will work in this environment. And I push this change to DevTool itself. So ideally that it should work for everyone, I guess. And then this commit is just upgrading DevTool to 1.0.5, and that works. So yeah, thank you. I think I wouldn't find that out myself. And this one, this one is a bit straightforward. So I think I basically removed the Monaco Vola because the grammar inside this repo is a little bit outdated, and because it's also quite simple, we just need one file in order to install all this grammar, and we can use the grammar from Shiki. Well, Shiki will pull the grammars like every a few days, and when the release version is updated, it'll be updated automatically. So that will be keeping us on the close to latest, and because the grammar comes from different sources. So here for Vue TM language, it comes from the language of Vola. I can just show you. So it's Shiki JS Shiki. So if you check the commit, you will see there's a lot of bold commit to say update themes, update grammars, and here yeah, let's check. Where is it? I guess it's inside the script. So script you have grammar and and themes, and this is a pull grammars from GitHub. Okay, I guess there is a source file. Nope, not this file. Where is it? Okay, here. So it's grammar source. So you will see here is a long list of which grammars comes from which repo, and you know sometimes the grammar is like they can have a different format. So here, for example, here this one is the extension is TM language. So it's basically an extended XML file, which is quite hard to read by the JavaScript tooling or front-end tooling. So here this repo is basically pulling all this language, all these grammars, and then convert them all to JSON. And you see that some of them are providing by JSONs already, but some are not. So we just convert it and normalize it, all these grammars into JSON, and distribute it inside the Shiki package so you can reference to it. So that's quite a lot of effort. And yeah, so for us to consume it will be super easy. We just import that file. So import that file. So we don't need to do the fetch again and over again. We just need to upgrade the dependency. So that's something for you know, because we only use Monaco Vola for installing the grammar. So I think that's maybe it's easier for us to directly install the grammar like just one file to do so. And well, I'll work with the Monaco Vola, the author of Monaco Vola, to see if we can push some changes to update this library. And yeah, and then we have, what do we have? I saw the comment. So it said text made with Shiki is great, but regex is constrained. Curious if you consider trace it. Yeah, I think one thing is like I'm not so sure if like tracer would be working in the browser, but I think that's not the real concern. I think the real concern is the ecosystem. So basically you have those grammars for basically all the languages for TextMate, because I think this syntax is originally created by TextMate, and then VS Code will reuse that syntax. So basically it means that I suppose that's basically all the mainstream IDE would support that. But I'm not so sure if there's any solutions like syntax highlighting solution based on trace header. And I guess also like if you have a new format of like syntax highlighting, you also need to have a new format for themes. And not so sure to like what's the benefit of like moving moving from a huge ecosystem to a new thing. Well, that's maybe you need to justify the cost. And I guess that's I'm pretty happy about so far about the TextMate. Yeah, I think TextMate internally use some regex, but I kind of think it's able to handle all the cases because this regex is like it's doing something like a scoping or extending on top of the uh, regex. So it's basically kind a little bit like overcome the limitation of regex. But I know that it's not perfect. Yeah. I know it's a big parser or a big like language agnostic parser, but yeah, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but we will see. And we're happy. I think I'm happy to see if you are interested in building something, and so that's to prove the community that is something worth the direction. Otherwise, I think me myself will be like a little bit trapped in a comfort zone. So yeah, so that's my opinion, and let's continue reading the the commit. So here is a PR. Okay, so it basically says that we shouldn't throw an arrow because once we throw an arrow, it's being catch and the upcoming sequence will not be run. So we just point an arrow and return it because we also assign the arrow dot value, so it should be fine to present that information in the UI. And yeah, so that's a thing. And here is some changes to the doc. I think it's okay. And you similar to package.json. So here I'm not so sure because I remember that the package manager does support wildcard, like wide range of the things. Recently, I'm not so sure, but this PR says that Stackbase is not going to respect it anyway. So yeah, I think it's also okay to do it because we can have the script to bump the versions automatically. And yeah, and here is just like so here is a bit counterintuitive for me. But so I was thinking to include this layer folder, but it turns out because the ts config is generating on the .nuxt file, so that means it's relative to that file. It's not relative to the root. So you have to be like 2 dots to jump up level. And yeah, that's just a small fix. And I think that's it. So we don't have a lot of things happening recently. I just push a thing that's updating our to do. I think we can just check. So basically, in the last 2 episodes, we finished the file tree and Monaco editor and Vola. So I think so far it's looking quite well. Yeah, I think the thing is probably I think what we are missing would be like connecting Vola to the Stackbase web container, maybe file system. And I guess this is a bit like tricky part, and I guess that would be diving into too much detail. Not sure if you want to see it, and I'm not confident about like if I can finish it in streaming. So I think maybe that's first. That's starting with some polishing to this playground. So so that we can do like a more easy approach, and then if we still have time, we can try to figure this out. Otherwise, I think we could do a few things like I think we can show the release time for this playground. So basically, for now, if you go to learn.nuxt.com, Yeah, I think we can close all these things, right? So basically, you don't know that when this bundle is like when this thing is being bundled or which commit it is. So I think we could improve that. I think we could basically have a little commit here, a little budget here to say it's built from like 2 days ago or 1 week ago. So you will see if this is up to date or not. Because when the automatic deploy fails, it will be keep using the previous. So you may not really sure that if the new latest change is being shipped or not. So this is something we could do. I believe that would be straightforward to do. And then we could have maybe like we can show the Nuxt version and the Vue version from the container. So we can know, I guess maybe, I'm not so sure where to put it, but here maybe like we can have a little budget here to see what is the current command running, and yeah, and what's the version of Nuxt and Vue here. So I guess that's it just like making it clear, but I'm not sure. I'm not so sure if we are going to have a feature like Vue SFC playground that you can choose the different version. I think that would be a little bit too much. If we need another version, I think you can exit and you can install it. So you can install. I guess you can do it, and I think maybe that we can have the UI reflecting to it. And yeah, also I think today maybe we could do the custom bundler. So here the custom bundler, because like currently we are importing from import meta globe, that means every single file is still a modules in Vite, and that kind of creates some trouble. And if you see, I think here, yeah, for example here, this is certainly a false positive to say this module cannot be imported in Vue part of your app, and that is because this kind of app, yeah, I think maybe is this, yeah, I think the case is Nuxt is trying to guard you to say you shouldn't import nuxt.config.ts, while in our case we are just reading it as a text. So this is a false positive, and of course we can fix this false positive, but I'm thinking that maybe it's better to get those import statements outside of our like pipeline, so we don't need to deal with this false positive that often. Because I think previously I also have a CSS issue, but once I upgrade to the Nuxt Edge, no, the Edge version of Nuxt, so it's like 3.9. It's not yet released, so you got the hash. So yeah, I'll just let you know if you want to try the latest version of Nuxt. Well, it haven't been released yet. So for example, like if you want to try Vite 5, that's why like I think for Nuxt 3.8 is still on Vite 4, and we already like upgrading Vite to in our main branch, but I haven't released yet. So it's like it will be going to be in 3.9, but before 3.9 get released, what you could do is like you can change here. You can change the version of your Nuxt to be npm column and Nuxt nightly, and then add latest, and then it'll install the Edge's version. So the nightly version actually. So the nightly version will be released on every commit, and so you just keep in mind that this can be unstable or things might be break, because we might not be like fully test out, or otherwise it's also a good way to help us to verify if the new release is good or not, because when you try the latest version, if there's something break, you can create an issue to help us to make like 0.9 more stable, something like that. So now so this repo we're using Nuxt nightly. So that means we are on the Vite 5 and rollup 4. So just for information, and if you are if you are interested, or if you like eagerly want to upgrade to Vite 5, you can do it this way. I think we have that on the documentation. Yeah. So here you have a nicely released channel, and I think it'll be like more accurate explanation of what you do. And it was called age. It was called Nuxt age, but now we just renaming this to nightly to be more clear. Because I think age conflict with a little bit of the age rendering, I guess. So yeah. Oh yeah, and it says that this will be only when the all test passes, and we will automatically do this release. So yeah, ideally it should be fine, but of course there's the many cases that the test cannot cover. So also like if you do like we would really appreciate if you could help us to improve the test. So yeah, so that's the update so far. So I think for us, I think we could pick something easier. I think that we can do like one by one from top to down. And yeah, let's do it. So basically, for this release time, we basically want a constant of the time we built, and another time, and not the current time. So basically, if you want the current time, you can have a time, right? And new to new date, something like that, right? And or date now if we want to get the Unix version of it, and this is a number. So and this is dynamic. So JavaScript is dynamic. So this when you bundle it, it doesn't transform into a static time. So you will say, okay, at this moment the time is that. But when your app run again, it get the latest time. So it does not really helpful. So what we could do is like when we bundling, we should statically replace some time. So it's basically like so we can say like build time, right? So we can say like it's like 2020, like 2023, and then it's December, and today is December 12th, and then I don't know, and maybe we could have a time, and I'm not so sure how you do the time for. So basically, like if you do like this, I think this will be fixed. But I think you also need to worry about the time zone. So I'm not so sure. So oh yeah, I think maybe the easier way to do so is like I should just do new date and to ISO string. Yeah, like that. So basically this would be having the time zone as well. So just copy this over and here, and now we have the build time. So maybe let's do it in the navbar. So we could have like this, right? And after this logo, I'm not so sure where to put it actually, but I think it's not. Yeah, I think for the UI, I think we could do it. We could handle that later. So so that's if I put the build time. So here you will see here, this is something a very I guess it's readable, but it's not super friendly. So what we could do here, I think it's like you have, I think there's a time. There's a time attribute. There's a time element in web standard. So I guess that we could do it like build time to ISO string. Would that do? Yeah. So so for the title, it can be to local string, to local string. So yeah, if we hover it, I think we should see the value of the time. But while that, we don't want to see the full time, so we will see time ago, and we can use time ago build time, and use time ago is a utility from Vue use, and we'll basically copy these things, and it will say 2 minutes ago, and that is because we got this time 2 minutes ago. So every time I refresh, like maybe 1 minute later, it'll say like 3 minutes ago, as you expected, because this time is fixed, and this is fixed at the moment that I copy this time, and this is like so we can say like built uh so it's like built 2 minutes ago, and this is something that's we want it to be automated. We don't want to uh, update this time every time, right? So I think it's a bit unclear that's how you can get this time dynamically while you preserve this statically, right? So basically we want this time to change for every build, but we don't want to change. We don't want it to be changed after the build. So I'm actually not so sure how to do it, but I will try. So I think it's define. No, we don't have a define. Wait. Okay. Let's go for the Nuxt.com. So if you press Command K, yeah, you have it. You have a Command K and static. No, define. Would you have a define? All right. Yeah, we have a define. So define is under, where is it? Oh, define is under Vite. So this is a Vite feature. Okay. So that makes sense because I know there's a feature in Vite, but I don't know. So basically we do a define here. And define, so if we want to check, so here I think the documentation should indeed be improved. And we have a Vite config define, so we can just see how Vite goes. So I think Vite has a, where is it? Define. All right, so define here. So it's a defined global constant replacement. This is a constant replacement at build time. So that means what we could do is here we can have a build time. And then I think we can do date now directly. So usually you should wrap it as a JavaScript string file because this replaces the whole string as is. And so here, when we have this thing, and we could put it here. And yeah, here is like the TypeScript is complaining because it doesn't know this type. But I mean, it's fine. But here, this thing will be replaced entirely. So if you do hello to say, yeah, if you do hello here, so it's actually replacing these things into hello, and that makes the code not running. If I refresh it, does it say anything? Nope. No, it's not working. It's not working, but it does not tell me why. Oh yeah, it says hello is not defined, and that means this thing is basically being replaced to hello, literally. So if you want to change it to be a string, so usually you need another course inside. So here there will be a string, so like this. But for number, because number doesn't have a code, so it should be fine, I guess. So I think we can just pass the date .now, which is a number. Date .now is a number, but new date is not a number. Just for your just for the record. So this is the date structure. So you can to ISO string, and this will be a string. So then here you need to have a string file, because when you want to replacing as a string. But I guess that we could do it like date now. Let's see. Yeah, you see it's built just now. Yeah, using runtime config. I mean, yeah. I guess you can do it in the runtime config as well, but I'm not so sure I mean, I think that's totally a valid option, and they basically work the same. But I just feel that for this specific case, we don't need to be runtime config because can be statically built, and this is just static replacement. While that runtime config is an object that's held by Nuxt, and you can basically update it on the server side, and it will be passed to the client side, or some modules can change it. But for us, in this case, we don't really need to change it, isn't it? But yeah, I think we'll consider it later. Wait, what? Oh, because I changed hello. How come? So in order to fix this, we can have a declare like this. Yeah, that will do. Yeah, I need to declare this type myself. Well, yeah. So how about that? I just show you how you do how you do it in the runtime config. So here is this is an approach, all right? So we just refresh your see. So here is like built 2 minutes ago. So I will just try to make it smaller and maybe opacity 50. Anyway, I think this doesn't really matter that much, and I just want to make it okay. So so this doesn't matter. So I'll just commit it, and then we can compare. So define to set the build time. All right. So that's change it to runtime config, and so runtime config is much more powerful, I would say, and that can be used for more purpose. But for I think that we could do it. So here, so for runtime config, you can put a lot of things. So let's check the runtime config. So basically, you have it here. So you have an app, Nitro, and public. Those are kind of special key. While that you can put any key you want, but the public will be a little bit special. So public means that this is accessible on the client side. Well, that's here. If you can have a GitHub token here, and so you can do that like that. And this is only available inside the server, not the client. It's not being shipped to the client. This is private. So outside of this public, it's private, and you can still share these things, but it's not being passed to the client side. But here, if we want to do it, like we can have a build time. All right, and then we have this thing, and this is the public, and so here we can refresh it. So we can remove this define, and after we passing this thing, the benefit of this is like Nuxt will handle the types for you. So you have a runtime, and we use runtime config. This is a function from Nuxt, and basically you got the type, and we have a runtime, and then we have a public, and you see the build time is here, and build time is a number because we pass this as a number. So this is automatically all for type. So you don't need to do the type yourself, and I would expect this thing will be working as is. And if we hover it, it'll show you the exactly time it is. For I think for your local. So while that's here, when it's appear, it will shows you the sorry. Yeah, it will shows you the relative time. So I think that's for these cases it doesn't really matter. It's just a matter of a preference. But I think that's keep using runtime config, because it's more easier to maintain, I suppose. Because when we change it, like if we change to build times, and here you got the arrow, which is nice. So you will see there's no overload to it, and you need to change the time. So I think let's do it. And like I think a little bit runtime thing, it doesn't really hurt the performance. Because this is just a variable. Did I change it? Oh yeah. Wait. Should I refresh? I'm not so sure if we could have a static config. I think for static it's better to do. Yeah. Should we have a static config? Oh, I mean basically we could generate type for this. It's not that hard, right? I mean, we could have these things. We could totally generate this type. But I think okay, the case will be a little bit different because here if you pass a string to say this is actually you can have a variable name. That can be like relative to this context. So it might not be easy to infer this type, but at least I think we could infer this from the key. And for the value, we could have a, I don't know. For value, we could have a any or unknown, or we can check if they're starting from the course, and we will have it. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Or basically, I think you can do an expression here. So you can insert a command. So I think this is two different level of powerful. This is like a built-in replacement, code replacement, while this is something that's an object coming to into your app. And this runtime config can be changed by the modules or by on the server side. But here we don't need to change just that. Yeah. So yeah. So we can do another commit. So use runtime config for build time. I think that's a good call. Because I I didn't thought about like we can use runtime config. Yeah. So at least I show you two ways and choose what that makes sense to you. And okay. So here and so we basically finished the first one. That's something that I just want to show you because I think this is a common need when you're building an app. So yeah, that's for information. And yeah, and if you want to Git, if you want some like so for example like a Git hash, right? And I'm not so sure if you can use this. Not so sure. So I will just print it here. I'm not so sure if that works. And so we can have a runtime and public. I'll just print all these publics. Oh, okay. Git shell is not working. So I saw this is working. Okay, and you see there's a some other things, and that's for MDC. So because MDC can fetch the contents at the runtime, so it has something in the runtime config. Yeah, I think you have MDC like that. Yeah. So for Git shell, if you want to have the hash of the Git commit, so maybe then we can have a link to that commit, so we can check that. So an easy way to do it, so we can search for Git get latest hash commit yeah, commit hash. So we basically have this thing. I think this is something here, right? But yeah, so just print this. So if you want, you can do this thing. But yeah, I'm not so sure if we support top level await here. So we basically do an execute commit, so we can use execa. How do you pronounce this? Execute and xcar, something like that. I never pronounce it. And so so here we basically have this commit and here like that. And yeah, like this. And then So R to R dot stand out, and maybe we can do a string like that. But I am afraid that is top level. Top level is not supported. That's something I'm working on. I guess that we can have a sync. Yeah, we can have a sync function, and we do a sync, and then we do standard out, like that, and then maybe we will have a hash here. So it's a runtime. It's public. Right, sure. So what we could do is like that, and yeah, let's go back to our app. Okay, you see, you got the hash, and what we use the hash is like, okay, we can have a Nuxt link, and we could have a static info to say repo, and for the repo we got this thing, right? And we got this thing. We got this URL, and then we have a tool, and for the tool we have a repo and add so it's, I think it's commit, and then we have the runtime public share, and we can just wrap this timestamp to be and then we can have a target. So we created in a new page. So basically Nuxt link will be served as A. So that would be the same. But for Nuxt link, the good part is it will recognize an internal routing or external routing based on the URL. So if you're starting with HTTPS, that means it should be an external URL. So it will be as a link, and when it's a relative like pass to slash, which back to the root, it will use router link. So I think it's always better to use Nuxt link. So it makes things easier. If you later want to change it to be something that's relative, you could do it without changing the tag. And I think it does a little bit more. And so basically, when we go here, so here is the link. I can click it, and I click it. You see it's jumped to this commit, so which is nice. So when I want to see if something gets through or if there's any bugs, I can identify which commit it is. So yeah, that's basically it. So here, this is a very simple cases that I just run a command to get it. And while on the other hand, I think there's a project called Simple Git. I think it's Simple Git, right? So it's a basically a wrapper of those commands, and it's providing a little better types and a context. So I think you can do a few more things. I'm not so sure, but I usually I would use this library, but for our case, because it's super simple, we just get this commit and I just do it like executing a command, and I think that's fine. So we basically have it, and yeah. Also generate. Right, and we push it. So that's the thing. Just to show you, you can provide some you can provide a few information inside this Nuxt config. I just that would works because Nuxt config is only executed on the build time. It's not shipped into your runtime or into your server. So so that's the point. And so I think maybe we could try to see how we can pass through. Oh, yeah. I think it should be pretty fast. how slow it can be, just like running a command, and the command is pretty simple. It does not do anything, just reading the hash, right? I mean, it definitely slows a little bit, but I would doubt if it's actually notable. And I mean, if you want to avoid these things, you can do a condition to say if there's you only execute these things in the build time. I think that will also do. But I guess for our case, I'm just like, we will optimize it. Otherwise, I'll just leave it there to avoid introducing the capacity. But yeah, if you want, you can do it. Oh, I think maybe there is like a build. So it's Nuxt build info. I think there is a module for it. I think let's go to nuxt.com.modules to see. I remember there is one. Build. Is there a thing? Nope. Info. Yeah, I'm not so sure. I just remember there is something like that. Oh, maybe. Oh, it's not. Maybe it's not for Vite. It's for build info. It's for Vite. Plugin. Okay, it's unplugging info. Okay, I started. So I think it's probably I'm in Discord. So you see, this is exporting a build information through a virtual module, which is more close to runtime config rather than our replacement. And okay, so basically you have a Vite plugin info. Okay, it's the same project, so they migrate to unplugging, which is nice. And I think here you got the shell. Okay, so you're basically providing multiple different sub modules, and it probably only execute it when you actually import this module, which is a bit like lazy on demand. I guess that would be more efficient. And so you got a lot of things. Very cool. I'm not sure if these things can be traceable. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think in the runtime it should be traceable, but I think in at the node side, it should be executing all. I think it's like it's getting all this all this information for you to serve, and I guess still like I don't think the performance is the issue here. Yeah. Yeah, so that means this plugin also works for Nuxt. Yeah, if you don't want to do it manually, I guess you can use this thing. Yeah, which I think is good. You even got the committer date. So yes, to say that you can see you can have a friend like say built 8 minutes ago by someone. Yeah. You can show the avatar there, and you can show the commit message here. You can link to that PR or something, which I think is interesting. Yeah, you can do a lot of things. Yeah, I really like the flexibility. So I'm not sure if we should jump into the thing to check. So index. Okay. So it's like here. It's and what they got. How they got the git. Okay, so it's a git repo info. So there's another package. So if we trace it down, I mean, you can do it. Okay, and here is the git repo info. Okay, this is the synchronized. No, it's okay. I'm happy to talk about these things. Yeah, and also like I'm not so sure how useful this is. Like I'm just showing you that how the way I'm just diving into a thing. So for example, like I would like to know how people doing this thing, and I think here you see this is a little bit different. It's not executing the command. It's like just go directly to the file system. It does not filing any command. It's just reading the files on the .git. I think that's valid as well. I guess there's some file here. Okay, I don't have the git. So if I go git, can I do it? Yeah. So here is the information in the git. So basically, I would imagine here, yeah, original header. You basically just read this file. Yeah, you can do it. You can retrieve this hash by reading this file. And I think maybe that would be in some scenario it can be a better approach because it's not relying on Git. Uh, because I think when you do these things, it'll be fail if the user is not installing Git. But I mean, or like installing Git in a different environment. And I mean, I'm okay with that because this is a Git project, so I can assume that people should have Git, or I think basically everyone should have a Git, right? And but it still can be an error when there's some scenario or some environment set up, or on Windows they don't got the Git command. So uh, I think a reading file relying totally on the native modules would be a more stable approach. But it also like on Windows you will also get a file path issue. But I guess like relatively it should be more stable. And I'm not so sure if that would be more efficient. I guess theoretically it should be more efficient because when you're firing Git, it's also like parsing some command and you still read the file and passing through the streaming, through the sub process buffer or something. So yeah, reading the file might be better. So yeah, just this is like a lot of different things to consider, and there's a lot of trade off to make, and there's not really a good a good or bad, but just like uh, I think that's for every problem. It's more like if you say that's what there's a 100 uh you say 100% in to indicating this the space of the problem, and usually most of the solution will be like only covering 99% and of those cases, and there's like 1% and that's not being covered. And if you got another solution and probably there's another 1% is not being covered, and also you can combine these two together to cover this all these things. But also like you will sometimes you will cover something that is not in this 100%. It's like something outside of this 100%. So it's more like a two circle, and you cannot like perfectly overlap, but you will have some overlap, and you will have some something uncovered and something overcovered. So I mean, this is how programming works, right? So you can try your best to approach this perfect solution, but I don't think you are ever going to be perfect because like software always has bugs. And also like when environment changes, the circle will changes, the scope of your problem solving will be moving. And I think this is something especially true in front end, because front end like there's a lot of things moving. For example, like JavaScript is adding new syntax, and if your parser does not understand those syntax, you will be fail. Or some like CSS is changing, the browser is changing, and yeah, there's a lot of moving part. So that means I guess that when you're writing a library for front end, that would be more unstable than like writing a something for the backend, because backend like relatively more uh it's more stable in terms of the language, because you only care about language, the system, the system IO, which usually will be more stable. But front end is a moving meta, like it's ever changing. Like you cannot stop it. You cannot say I'm not going to do it. So so you author a library in CommonJS. Like 2 years later, like everybody is moving to ESM, and you need to update it. So for example, like that. Yeah. Yeah, I'm being off topic to uh a little bit far. Yeah. All right. So that's moving forward to do this Nuxt and Vue version. So for Nuxt and Vue version, I'm not so sure how you can get it, but I would assume that shouldn't be too hard. So I think we can do a similar approach. So we go to this layer playground. So this is all how our things is moving. And So for Vue version, I'm wondering if we can do like here, uh, like here. So if I do runtime config and public again, and version Vue version. So maybe I should just version Vue. I'm not so sure if you can do version Nuxt. Yeah, maybe you can just read it from package.json. That would also do. So version Vue and version Nuxt. So here, this is a small habit I have. Is like I'll put a version beforehand rather than Vue version. So Vue version will be like more semantically better, right? It's like more aligned with the English speaking. But for having all this version beforehand, is align these things, and when you type for the autocomplete, you got the version and autocomplete. And this is some habit I would prefer. So I will put the type of the category first, and then it's like better organized. When you're sorting them, it will be together, something like that. And yeah. So here, if we put it in the runtime config, I'm not sure if that works. And here we can have an RPC. So basically we can say onReady. Did we have a ready function? Yeah, onReady. So basically, in the onReady, we could have a version here. So it's like version Vue and version Nuxt, and they should. So let's have a better interface. So here, this is a RPC, right? And I think we could have a, or maybe we should move to another file. I think that will also do. So here, so it's like ready info, something like that. I think we could provide more information later. So basically, we put a string, and info will be here. And here you got this info, right? And you passing it. So here we can have a runtime config and use runtime config. And we basically passing, I mean, to be more efficient, I think I would destructure it. So it's public and the version Vue, version Nuxt. So I mean that I could directly passing these things to it, that it will be also passing some other attributes, and we might not need it. I mean, this would make this would not break the app because we only care about those things. But I think that would be more efficient if we only pass something we need. It's unknown. Okay. Anyway, I guess this is something that I think we need to start. I think we need to start the app to no. This is template, right? Basic, and then we should have a prepare. If we run a prepare, okay, yeah, it should have. No, it's still not working. Wait, how come? Yeah, have a function. I think that should do. So if we do like here, if we do console log, yeah, here you have a project. Yeah, you got the Nuxt version, you got the Vue version. Yeah, it's good. But I'm not so sure why type is not working. So here, this should be included inside. I mean, I don't really care that much. I think we could do it like this for now, and I will see. Maybe there's like some TS config is conflicting with each other. There's like two TS config generating by Nuxt because we currently have two Nuxt app, and yeah, I don't really worry about this. because this is not user-facing thing. So basically, you have this thing, and now in our app, which is like unready, right? It's unready here. So here we have the information, and because we already did that, so we have this thing, and I guess putting a versions object might not be a bad, yeah, might not be too bad. Yeah, I'm not considering that because I was thinking to have something in the playground state to hold this value, so we can have a playground, and then actually that makes sense to have a single object. So you have a versions, and then you can have a, yeah, I can have a ref, and then you basically have view and Nuxt, right? And if you putting it here, or maybe it's, yeah, I'm not so sure. Like I think we can have a client info, be more generic, and then we can have a here. It's like yeah, I can change this to client info, and then we can have it in the playground. We can have a client info, and we import this type. So we basically import this client info to the thing. So put in here. Okay. So client info. Yeah, I think it's nullable. Should be fine. Because when you're not passing in an argument here, yeah, good point, Bobby. Yeah, so I think you are right. So if I do it here, yeah, if I do here, so it's like kind info, and I don't need to destructure it. Yeah, that's true. And then here, instead of doing this, I would doing here and client info, and this is unknown. Anyway. Oh yeah, to be better, I think I should cast it to be client info. Yeah, okay. And then we basically putting play dot client info equal to info. Yeah, that would do. Yeah, I think that should do. And I'm not so sure where to put it, but that's boiled. That I don't know. Yeah, let's do it here. We will move it later. So here, we can basically ensure that if play the client info, which client info can be null, can be undefined because we define the variable like that, and before the server, the client server is starting, and we don't have this value, so we only show when the server starts. So we can have a view, and then yeah, we can do simple like that. I mean, we can. Oh yeah, it's Vue, right? It's Vue and Nuxt. Oh, it's version Nuxt. Yeah, Copilot is not understanding my convention. And let's go to 3000 to see if that works. So here you don't see anything because it's not yet being installed. Oh, it's not fast. All right, I'm hoping this can show something here. Can we? Is that some error? Maybe. Oh, where is it? Cannot execute post message on object should be cloned. Okay. It says it should be cloned. I guess that is because this thing is a proxy. So I guess we should do like this. like or maybe 2-row would be. I think 2-row might do. So 2-row is oh, it's automatic in. Okay, it's auto typed. It's auto imported. So if we refresh it, I guess that should works. I will move it to the right. Cannot read properties of undefined. Oh, this is from view worker. I hope this will do. All right, it works. You see, it's here. Yeah, we should make it nice looking. I think maybe that's we can unify all those things into an information tab. So yeah, I think we could do it. So I think we can use a floating view. Floating view. Yeah, this library, and this can allows us to have a pop-up. And what's the API reference? There's a guide to installing on Nuxt, right? Nuxt 3. So here we install the Nuxt floating view. So so here we basically got the thing working. So I think we can do a commit. So fit display view and Nuxt version, maybe client side, maybe playground. All right, and this is the same. And then we could have a panel. We could have a pop-up panel. What I'm thinking is here. So we can have a button, information button, and we can click it, and it will shows all this information for the Nuxt playground and for the view and Nuxt version as well. And I think most of the time people wouldn't care about these things, but it's important for us when we debugging it or when people providing reproductions on top of this. So so that's something we should do. We can use a floating view. Did I install it already? Nope. So I will do it. Installing floating view, and here we have this module here and this Nuxt, like that. I guess that's automatically works. Is that injecting the style as well? So yeah, let's try. So basically need to have a drop down, a menu. I think it's a drop down. So I think we copy this thing and we put it in the nav, and here under here. So yeah, go to this thing. I'll zoom out a little bit. And here basically here is the button, right? So we just copy this button and we replace that. And here you have a template popper. So this is the content of this popper. So so we can do that, and we can say hello, and we move all these things inside. All right, and we can change this icon to be info. Okay, good. Into so we can say playground information, and we don't need the click, we don't need the if, and distance 6. I'm not sure distance 6 what that means, but we can tweak. So I hope this works. I don't know. So we have a button here. All right, you see. So here we got these things. Of course, we need to sim this. We need to provide a better theming to this. We don't want it to be background. We don't want the background of it to be white for sure. And here we basically have some pending. We can have pending 4, and maybe we could have a, I don't know, information. I don't know. Maybe we don't need it. And here, because we have basically 3 information here, so we have a build time, and maybe we could do a hash as well. So maybe we could have a hash like this, and we could, yeah, we could do a slice, and we can only show the first 5, and maybe we can wrap it as a code. Okay, there's actual one, yeah, like that. And I want to make a list. So basically, I think we can go with grid, and we can provide in some nice icon to it. So I think we can have a columns, and the columns, the first can be I don't know. We can do like a max content and then 1 friend. So max content would be we can have a icon here. So we can go to this website icons.json, and we use this icons.js.org. Sorry, we can use this, and we use duotone. And what icon we would like to have? Build. So it's time. Or build. Do we have a build icon? Or package? Okay, I think a package might do. Package is nice. So here we can have this thing, and we can have a little icon here. So but here the columns is basically to say the first column is max content, and the second column is like automatically. And here, so we basically put this different type as an icon in front of it. So instead of this, I think we could do here. I think we can have a view. So for view, we could do this thing. I think we can choose this to be more aligned to this thing. And then for Nuxt, Nuxt should be. I'm not sure if we should have a color or not, but we could do this. So we can do icon like Nuxt, and then we have the view version, and then we can't just copy this thing. And because we didn't check if it's available here, so we basically we can have a optional chain here for now, and then we can have a Nuxt version, and we remove this thing. So here, because like I just iterate between icon and information, icon information, and we only have 2 columns, and that means only the first column will be icon, and the second column will be the content, the text. So if we go to this, no, sorry, here, so yeah, you see this is basically a line, and so you have a little grid, and you yeah, I think I can show you on inspect. I'm not sure. So here, if I do this, so you see, this is like that. So basically, the first column will be like the max content. That means it will be choosing the width that's fixing that's fitting all the rows for this column. So here, because we only use all these columns is icons, so we basically choose the max width of those icons. And here you might notice that the icon is not really aligned with each other. So that's straightforward. We just like add an item center. I suppose that works. Yeah. And you see this is aligned. And item center is align item center. And this is oh, I didn't know they have those things. Yeah. So basically here you got this alignment. And yeah. So I think now I need to maybe zoom up the icons a little bit, and then change the style of this thing. Yeah, and here I guess we could do I think we could make it a little bit better. Basically here can have initializing. And then for here, otherwise we can have a code. So we can have when you have a code, that would be monospace by default, I think. And then we have a v in front of it, and here we have a v else. And then we can have an animation. No, plus yeah, and maybe text more like that. And here and intercenter. Yeah, I know you like typos. Did I do it right? So hard. Initial. Yeah, I need to be patient. Init. So it's initialization. Initializing here. Yeah, this should be fine. And now we'll just copy it for Nuxt as well. And this is like version Nuxt. And that should be fine, I think. And then yeah, and then we need to sync. Yeah, I need to zoom a little bit so it's like text large. So apply to 3 of this icon. Yeah. Yeah, and if you here you click it, you gotta commit. Oh, it's just a loading icon would be fine too. Yeah, maybe. If I refresh it, it will be showing initializing. Yeah, maybe you're right. So I think we already have the spinning icon, right? And that's what is that this thing? Nope. We can have loading here. So basically have this icon. I think that will also do. So I will change it to dev and then putting this icon here, and that's it. Right? So I'll put it, copy it here. And version view. And when I refresh it, it'll be like 2 version is loading. And when the server ready, it'll be fulfilled. I guess I should remove the text more, otherwise it will be looking too small. And maybe we don't need this animation because we only have the animation. Yeah. So that should be fine. And let's see how we can stem this thing. So this is a pop inner, and we basically have this background. So for the background, we need to align with the background. And all right, so I just copy it. I just copy it, and here inside this app, where is it? We don't have a style. Yeah. Sorry. I think here we have a style here, basic override. So basically put override, and we can add a later comment to it, split pans. And this is X terms. X term. Yeah. And then this is a floating view. Okay. And we basically here have this, and we have a Uno, and we can have a background base. Is that the same? Maybe, I think so. And text base. Do we have this? No. So it's color base. No. So we don't have this thing. I wonder if we can just do color inherent. Just inherent from the. Okay, that'll do. Inherent from the app. And for the border, Wait, what? So here for the border, it has a border color, right? So border one solid. So maybe we can have a border base and border as well. All right. And for this triangle, and okay, so this is a border color. This triangle is a little bit hard to container. And here, outer. Okay, that is this is interesting. If you can see, here is basically adding two triangle here and to override different like having the first triangle to contribute as the border, and the second contribute to using the background color in order to. Okay, that's interesting. So basically we need to do this here, and we don't need this thing. I'm not so sure how you can do it. So it's basically border, so it's border based. So basically need the color of the border. Okay, so I think this is working well, but this is a little bit tricky. So inner should be aligned with the background. But while that's it's not applied to the background, it should be applied to the border, right? And so if we do background backface, it doesn't work because we basically need to have. Yeah, I think here we can add it as a special case. So here, so the base, we can just copy this thing, and instead of background, we just change to border. Yeah, yeah, that works. All right. So here, if we refresh it, it will basically have all these things working well. And if I change to white, it works for white. Great. And here, yeah, that's good. And all right. And I would like to moving the information button to be a little bit brighter, because here this icon will shows up when it's ready, so it'll be having a content shift, so it'll be pushing this information button to the left, which I don't want it. So I can put it on the right of it, so you don't yeah, so you don't move when this button appears. All right. So I think maybe for Vue and Nuxt, we can add a little button afterward. Like we can click to the version of the release note, maybe. Or maybe it's too much. I don't know. And I guess that's we can do like a little bit px6 py, a little bit pending, and probably gap y and gap x for 3. I don't know. Not so sure. I mean, it doesn't matter. I just want to do it. Okay, I guess the pending is a little bit too much. Nope. So it's 4 and this is 5. Yeah, I guess this is a little bit better. And the next icon seems to be a little bit. I'm not sure if we should give them color. Maybe X2. Okay, yeah, I will not be digging this too much. So so here I think we can commit it. All right, so fit adding floating view for information pop up, and I'll push it. You can put the info icon and terminal icon from app navbar to preview panel to improve the DX. Putting the information right on the top navbar showing the web apps. Oh. So this is just like I just put these two buttons into this thing. And should I put the download as well? I mean, yeah. So the information looks like the information of the app. So basically, we basically need to separate. We might need to two information panel. So the build 16 hours 16 minutes ago. So that should be on top, and then the Vue and Nuxt version should be on this panel. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So so for the terminal, yeah, I think we can move them there. So I just copy this. I'll just copy this over. No, I just copy this and I will just remove these things and I will remove this thing. Yeah. Yeah, like that. Okay. So here basically you only have the build time and on the playground, the main playground. And this is the preview. So on the preview here, so here this is the huge flux, and then this is something here, and then we'll put it here, right? And I will add a little flux auto, and I need to move this information. So UI state we no longer need it. I think we need here. We don't need the play. Repo runtime. So we basically have the runtime config, and we don't need the UI. We'll just remove the UI. And what's the error of it? Build time. Oh, we don't need the build time anymore because this is not. It shouldn't be here. Okay, we don't need the runtime. So it's basically like this, right? But for the terminal, yeah, for the terminal button, then it's not appear at the beginning. So I think we still need to show the navbar at some point, right? It should be like the navbar should keep it. The navbar should keep persistent even though the content is loading. Yeah, and we need to change the size of the icon as well. So in order to align with I think let's check the terminal. So here is a round and P1, and we don't have a size to it. So it's P1, and we remove the size of the icon. And here is again, it's P1 and no size. And maybe the gap. All right. That would be a little bit too small, isn't it? I feel like so. I guess they are not exactly the same. Or I'm just feeling it. I'm not so sure. I mean, I think maybe we should have a component for those icons, for those buttons. Yeah, for sure. I think we should have it. It's too small. It's too small. When the terminal minimizes, it still shows the header. Yeah, I think the reason I would like to not having this at all because when we have some tutorial, we may not want people to even consider there's a terminal or something. So I would sometimes, like in some tutorial, I think we might even hide this icon to be presented. So for example, like when we're introducing Vue syntax or Vue SFC, we don't want people to care about there's a terminal, there's a server inside. We only care about the client side. So I want to have the terminal to be able to hide it entirely. So that's the point, I think. And what I think it's not many tutorials we need the terminal, rather than like give full control to the user if they prefer. And yeah, and show last build time is we pass, then show build time is your do not have managed to place. Yeah, I think we could definitely do it because I think here in the Uno CSS playground we're already doing that. So you basically can close those tabs, and you can turn on, like, yeah, I know what you mean, and I think that makes sense. But for our cases is probably a little bit different. I'm not so sure that when you want to hide this editor to only see the preview, or hide this preview only show the editor. I think that's a really rare case. I mean, we could provide a ability to do so, but I'm not so sure if it's worth it. But yeah, I think we can evaluate later. And here, um, I, I, yeah, I'm not really a fan of it moving, to be honest. Hmm. I guess we could keep the I guess we could keep the information button here, but I think let's have the terminal button. Uh, let's have the terminal button here for a while, and I think later we could revise that. So at least we can have a more uh consistent UI for it. And okay, this is interesting because if we still do these things, you don't have this info, and when you have the info, you already have that. That means we don't the loading stage will never shows up because this button is not here until the server is ready. And when the server is ready, you already have those information. The terminal is available even you don't. Yeah, this is like available right away. It's just like you can close it when you don't need it. You just wait for this install dependency, and yeah. And what I want to do, yeah, yeah, I want to move this a little bit right. So what's this? Is where is it? Okay, p left 4. All right, I think it's okay. Maybe, yeah, maybe I shouldn't change this size. But anyway, I think so far it looks okay. This this effect is not something it's supposed to be honest. Yeah, I'm not so sure what happens to here. Okay, so here if we basically have the I mean it feels like this button is not center aligned, and I'm feeling very uncomfortable about it. I guess that's because wait, how can I do it? So here the reason why this icon is not center aligned because it's wrapping with the drop down. You see, and I guess what I can do is to m auto. No, display flex. Okay. So we basically need to override a little bit. Yeah, and just like be popper, and then we have the display flex, and maybe we could have a line center. Oh yeah, if you want to prefer the atomic CSS way, and that would be more consistent. Center, just by center, so we just align all these things inside this popper, and we don't need this margin auto. Yeah, and that should be aligned. Okay. What time is it? Okay. All right, it should be centered. And you click it, you will see the Vue version and Nuxt version. Yeah, I think that makes total sense to have it here. I just still think it's too small. Yeah, I think, yeah, large looks better. Okay. So feet, what do we have? Okay, so just move information to, oh, should we also show web container info version? Maybe? Would that make sense? Show version infos on preview panel. All right. And yeah, all is small synced today. So yeah. Okay, so we basically finished all these two, and that's okay. So switch playgrounds on different guides. I think that might be better to have the custom bundler first. Node versions and stack-based versions, container version. Yeah, I think no one would care about it. But I guess that's when I have some troubles, when I ask for help, from the stack-based team, I might want to ask for them. But I mean, I think they can figure it out anyway. It should be straightforward. Yeah, I think for regular user, it shouldn't be a worry. Yeah, UI is hard. UI is really hard. I still want to change a lot of things. So I think that's maybe should we get our bundler working? I guess we could do it. I have an idea. I think it should be yeah, I know. But yeah, I think that's when you're working on a tool that's for developers, and it's a bit interesting because your users are developers, so it's hard to distinguish between the developer of the tool or developer of the user of the tool, right? So yeah, and also like sometimes it's mixed. So because your user are sometimes power user, and they can dig into the tools itself and send PRs to you. And I'm just saying that it's interesting. It's not saying that we should have the established version there, but it's more like sometimes like when we think about users, we should make things simple. We should make things easier. But sometimes you also recognize that your target user is actually developers. I forgot to change the title of the live. Yeah, and so let's do this custom bundler. So it should be simple, I guess. So okay. So what I would do is like for this custom bundler, that means we will just bundle this. So here I just showing you here this. Wait, what? Here. So basically here we are just doing a meta glow to all this file and passing it as row. And as row is a Vite feature that's you basically just importing something. So you import so index.css maybe and add row. And this will make the CXX string from it. So you'll see that the type is string, even though it's CSS or like JS that will also do like you just loading them as string. And this would do for the most of the case, but I think it's not super efficient. And there's no many thing we could do about it. And we also need to do this path workaround, and this may not be the best, I think. So what I'm thinking is like we can have a custom logic on the server side that we can just bundle all these files together inside a single file, and then we don't need to worry about these conventions. It's like because like we just import the one single file. So in order to do this, I guess we can have an inline module. So I think I haven't shown you like how you make a module. So here you just do a modules, and then we can have a template loader something. Yes, and then import from. So basically export default. So define Nuxt module, and you will notice that I feel this is something we should improve because you don't have the type for this, and this is because this import is coming from Nuxt kit, and here we don't have a Nuxt kit. We do, but this is a transmitted dependency, so it's better for us to install it because Nuxt kit is a kit for authoring modules. So usually those are kind of separate from Nuxt because when you authoring modules, you don't want to include Nuxt itself, but it's just like a thin layer on top of Nuxt. So around Nuxt, something like that. So this function is coming from Nuxt kit, but maybe at some point I think we should re-export this to Nuxt, so that you can use it. So this is an inline module. We put the files under these modules. Well, that you can publish this file and you can use it in the npm. But here we just we only do an inline module. So we can have a meta, and meta is the name of something, but usually we don't care. And then we can have a setup, just like how Vue do. And here we can have this is the option. So basically you can have a option like config key, I think. So you can have a template loader, and you can have a default, and like that. And the config key would make that when you're using a Vite config, right? And with that, you are able to use a template loader here as a top level config, and it will pass through to your module. But here we don't actually need this configuration. And the first argument is the option that you put for this thing. And here you can have the option like module option. You can pass an interface here. And again, we don't need these things, but when you're authoring a module published to npm, you probably need those things. And so we basically don't need the option. So we just add an underscore. So I want the Nuxt instant. So here, what I'm going to do is I just globe these files, all these files underneath, and I do this. I will generating a single file so that you can import it. So I started two server already. All right. So here, I think do we have a fast globe? No, we don't have a fast globe. I will install it. So to add a virtual module in Nuxt is also, I think it's easy. So you basically add a template. So you say add template and then the file name. So we can say templates basic. Yeah, I think that would do. And get content, and get content can be async. And then here we basically glob all the files. So files, we can just glob it and then do it. I'm not so sure if I should resolve to a public path, but okay. So we basically have a dir, and then we can resolve it. So I think it's better to do a relative URL. So it's basic like that, and then we can import from URL, and we have file URL to pass like that, and we can change to this. And for the current directory, we can put the directory, and the absolute we can change to absolute, and only files because we only care about files. And we also need add some ignore. So ignore will be node modules, and by default I think it's ignoring dot, so dot should be true, and I guess we need to ignore git. So in order to do so, I think we can console log it files, and then we can return an empty object. Yeah, I think we don't need the Nuxt yet. So yeah, we have start a server, and do we have it printed? Nope. Is that lazy evaluated? Okay, I guess maybe it's lazy. So here, if I refresh the page and if I open up the dev tool, and I think you will see it here. Here you have a virtual file, and a virtual file, and underneath I think I should have a template. Nope. Okay, maybe the module is not coming through. Did I misspell it? Nope. So maybe I need to explicit edit. Okay, it's printing and is emitting all this file I want. That is good. Okay. All right, so then I should be able to have our template basic, and it does not have any content, and basically we want to grab all this file. So yeah, I think I suppose it should be like import automatically. I'm not so sure. Maybe it's being disabled in the latest version. I am not so sure. So so here basically we have a path of all the files. So we want to have a content. So we can have a file that's so yeah, let me think about it. I think to be easier, I think we can just have a file map, and then it's like a record string, and we basically reading all these files. So we can do a wait promise or, and then we do a map async, and then we have content, file system, read file. We don't want sync, we want async content. So it can be parallel and await. And this fs is not imported, so we import fs from not fs but fs/promise. So this fs is like so this reading file is returning a promise, and we got this content right, and we have this, and we have a relative path. I guess maybe I should use passive. Oh, maybe I should just like file slice the dir.length, and then have this content. So just assign this value to this object. What do you mean? And then here I can just do export default, and then I just stringify all these files, and we probably don't need to have it in. Okay, and here let's refresh it and to see if that works. So we have a template. Oh, that would be too big, and I basically having all these things. And okay, there's a leading slash, and I think we don't need this leading slash. Okay, it's slow. It's blocking. So this file is a little bit too big, but I think we have a good start. So I'm thinking that we should have a relative path. Oh, because like when I have an ESLint that will sort the import, and node will always be the first because this is built-in, and then the modules and relative pack, and when you save it, it's just moving up. So I think we basically have relative and dir and path. I think we can just I think I can make it more explicit file name. And yeah. So here you see that the path is built is adding a. So this file is not exist in the file system. It's a virtual module. So when you import it, you kind of have a hash build and template basic. So here I just copy this file, and here in the basic, I don't need to do these things anymore. So all I need to do is, because this is a raw file, right? So I think I just need to do like await and import, and here and slash build. Okay, interesting. This and then okay, maybe I can just have a template from. So basically here, I just destructure this, and I just remove this, and this is not typing well at this moment. And I'll just make it record string. Okay, I'm not so sure. Let's see if it works. If it works, and I think I can print it here. Raw file. All right. So let's refresh our app, and we don't need the dev tool. Okay, it's already loading files. And this is object. All right. So you see, this is all the files being imported. And .nuxt, I'm not so sure if I should include that. Maybe not. So I think I should exclude .nuxt. And then you have all these things. I think it's good. So basically we use a bit like client side, now server side logic to load these files, and then they will be served inside as a single module as this thing. And this is a virtual module. and they will be bundled into it and be more efficient without like having a lot of modules. And I think we don't have this warning anymore about the Nuxt.config. I just refresh, and oh, I removed that console log. All right. So here, I think here we can see all the files we are importing. Yeah, the Vola error will fix that later. And here we have the layer playground, the thing we want. Yeah, looks good. And I'm not so sure how we can do the typing. I mean, I guess. I'm not so sure like how you can do it automatically, but I will do it here. So it's declare module, and then sorry, module. So it's build template. Sorry, template. What I'm doing? Templates and basic, and then exports default recording like that. I think we need to have a files like that, and then here. Okay. Let's invade a module argumenting. Maybe is here. Maybe it needs to be inside the d.ts. Okay. Okay, you got a type for the record string. And yeah, so I'm wondering if I can a bit like compress these things, but maybe not necessary. Maybe not really necessary. Yeah, so I think it's good. All right. Then we have our custom bundler. Yeah, it's static virtual module, not really gzip. Because I think we also still need to want to extend these things. Like we want to have a config that template options that we can override some files. The reason I'm thinking that maybe the compress is not necessary because by default the server and I mean there's a lot of infrastructure that will compress the data, and if you compress it here, that means you need to ship a uncompressed logic in the client side, so that will kind of consume more client side resources, but may not be necessary make things smaller, but because there's a minifier and there's a gzip of your bundling, so I think it should be fine. I think I don't need to worry about this thing. All right, and here, good. All right, I think front. Okay. Yeah, so for the dev, it might be better, but for the production, I guess, like for production, they will be compressed anyway by the server. All right, I think we are good for today. We make we make three tasks. Three tasks finished. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So it's straight 2 hour. Did I do the calculation right? Yeah, it's straight 2 hour. So yeah. So that's, I don't know if, yeah. Let me know if you have a question. I can do a like 10 minutes chatting, and I will be off in 10 minutes. Oh, thank you. Yeah, today is not going too deep. We basically, I think we were basically chatting all the time. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I'm afraid that going too deep, I may not be able to finish it. Or otherwise, like on the other hand, it's maybe hard to follow because I'm jumping files. Oh yeah, let me know if I'm jumping file too fast. And because I'm just thinking and I'm just my thought is like jumping very fast, and I'm not so sure that was the experiments. What's the experiment on? Oh, sorry. What's the experience on following those things? I'm just jumping around, or maybe you haven't finished these things. I'm jumping to another files. Also, oh, yeah, I'm wondering if I can do a live share. If I can do yeah, if I can do a kind read-only live share, and I'll just post a link for you, and you can connecting into to see all the files I have. I'm not so sure if that's possible or if is that secure. So basically, if I can do a live share, make it read-only, and then I can send this link to you, and you can see all the files, and you can jump whatever you want, and or you can, if you prefer, you can follow my cursor. That would be interesting. Maybe at some points we could try. Yeah, not sure if it's secure or not, but I think I will do some research. And I'm also wondering if there's like if this can be handled by like 50 connection at the same time. I'm not sure if the heavy work is on my laptop or there's some like proxy server from Microsoft that can handle more traffic. And yeah. Yeah, I think maybe we could try the on Thursday. Hope that would be interesting. And yeah. So I think for this live share that you may be able to browse all the files I have, right? Yeah. Um, share read only terminal. Stop collaboration setting. Yeah, I think that would be fun. Yeah, I will check and I will let you know. Yeah. All right. I think I can maybe I can show you something I've been working on recently. So one thing I did yesterday uh, is TwoSlash integration. So if you don't know TwoSlash, so TypeScript playground. So this initially starting from this. So if you have ever used the TypeScript playground, it's very interesting. So here usually you have to hover it to see what the flow is, right? And TypeScript playground has a feature is that if you do here and then question mark, and it will shows inline information about this what this is, and whenever you change something, so you say flow2, and then it's actually changing it automatically. So you don't need to hover again to see what is happening. And this is super useful when you do a lot of like type genericity, and it can be making it hard to predict what it is. But while here it's straightforward because it's simple. But if you do like a bit like required, right? And then you may not know what's the outcome of it. But even though that's here is like it's optional, that requires still emits non-required, something like that. So this is done by TypeScript Playground, and this has a library called TypeScript TwoSlash. yeah, here. Basically, you can, I think you can check here. There's a website about it. So here is this feature I just show you. It's interesting. I typed exactly what they did. So here, I think you can show more things. So you can show compiler flag. You can show arrow here, or like you can hover it. And this is a completely standalone thing that you can use. And it has been a while that Shiki has TwoSlash. And yeah, this is done by the author of TwoSlash. And basically you can have, I think this, oh yeah, this website is, is fantastic. I don't know how much time he spent on making this documentation, but I really love it. So oh yeah, I think I may need to explain a bit about what Shiki is. So Shiki is like a syntax highlighter based on text-made grammar, and text-made grammar is the grammar that's used in your VS Code, and this is made by Pine. He's my friend, and he was working for Microsoft in the VS Code team. I think at that time he come up with this idea to reuse the internal of VS Code and to generating the type syntax highlighting, and then you can reuse the VS Code things and text-made grammar, which is VS Code grammar basically, and this can get you the very accurate syntax highlighting that you will not be, so this is like much better than the client side solution or something, but it's also like a bit heavy because it's also a lot of it's also load of WASM a WASM binary because the code is not authored in JavaScript and to do so. But I think the overall the syntax highlighting is very good. And here then the TwoSlash is basically integrating these TwoSlash features into Shiki so that you can have these features. I think here I just scrolled it down. Yeah, I see the website is super beautiful. And here you basically have hovers on those interface, and this is something that you see. This looks like TypeScript, right? It's running a TypeScript server on the build time. So that means on the client side, you don't need to import the type server, but it's like actually generating statically. So if you inspect the DOM, you'll see a data language server protocol, and here is like a simple a plain text inside. But this is generating from TypeScript server. So like when you build these code blocks, it will run the TypeScript server and get all this information on each token, and it will generating those things, and so that you can present the type information inside your blog statically. Notice the presentation is only client side, so it's just same as Shiki. So Shiki has Shiki is quite heavy, and to have all the WhatsApp or something to get it working. But when it's compiled, it's actually just putting the colors into each attribute. So on the client side, you don't need to calculate again. So it's like ahead of time, some kind of that. So it's generating all this information ahead of time. So you can have basically a similar experience than your VS Code, but in your blog, and you don't need to cost anything. All the thing is being generating already. Of course, that's based on the assumption that you don't change the code. You don't need to have something like your IDE or the editor that you. Yeah, that would be something. I think that would be possible to have a go-to definition if you have a multiple section. I think that would be interesting. So for the client side, it's pure HTML and CSS probably, a little bit CSS to style these things, and no JavaScript needed for all these features. And all the JavaScript is running on the server side. And so for Shiki, because this is a bit complex and you need to load all this grammar, and it's not super easy to load this grammar because the grammar can be coming from the other places. So so I made another a port called Shikiji. Shikiji. So it's like Shiki with JI. And this is an ESM rewrite of Shiki. So it'll be more modern. And I'm still like communicating with the author of Shiki to see if we can port it back to be Shiki itself, and maybe like Shiki 1.0 can be the implementation of these things. But so basically this will be a bit more modern and a bit more flexible rewrite, because we use HAST, HAST, which is HTML AST protocol to do so. So that basically you can have a large transformation. So you can have the AST of the generating code, and you can modify these things. Well, we have a transformer thing. So yesterday I just finally integrating it to have TwoSlash working for Shikiji, and because it's also like based on HAST, maybe it's called HAST, and it allows a little bit more, a few more, flexibility. So I can show you. So Shikiji here, right? And so here TwoSlash, I do have some text feature, and I am able to run more than the original Shiki TwoSlash. I think show preview. So here, you'll see that I can have double color, and also I can have the highlight. I can have the text. I can have a syntax highlighting inside the hover. Well, that's if I show you the original one. It's like preview. Yeah, the original one you cannot have the syntax highlight, and I mean that's the static information. But with the Shikiji, that I can rerun this tokenizer for only those information, so you can still got those syntax highlight for the hovering. So that's a little bit better in terms of the how it's present. Yeah. So you can have a little bit more styles on top of it. So I've been just working on the yesterday night. So we'll see how I can integrating it. I think I'm going to do it on my blog, and also I will do a slide dev integration. So in your presentation, you'll be able to have these things without running a full TypeScript. So that should be nice, I think. And yeah, that's a quick update of what I'm working on yesterday. And for the weekend, I've been working on a ESLint TS patch. And it's just basically adding the TypeScript and the MJS support for ESLint flag config. And oh yeah, I think I can show you a little bit module. Wait, what? Nuxt ESLint. So is that here? No, it's not this one. And also like a little bit something that I'm still working on it, and so it's still not available yet. But I think this is quite cool. So basically, I want to have a Nuxt module that's generating ESconfig based on how your code being how your repo being configured. So for example, like for some different directory, like pages for server directory, you may not want to use client-side functions, or for pages there are some conventions that maybe like for layout you shouldn't have you should have only one root for your template or something. So that's some limitation for different type of files. So that's something in Nuxt we are talking about for a long time. It's like we want to generating some ESLint config preset for you to extend from Nuxt. just like how we do for tsconfig. So basically extend from the Nuxt manager, Nuxt generating tsconfig. So basically we can adapt to your alias, or like we can generate some type information for you. So we just took over the configuration need of tsconfig. So we want to do the same for ESLint config. And so we want to have a something generating, and that would be good for you. And also like I've been thinking to do something a little bit more. So wait, did I have it? Oh yeah, I have it. So for auto import, I mean there's some I think that some people like don't like auto import and feel like a bit like implicit. And here you can do what you could do is like this computer is auto imported. When you save it, it just imported. It add a statement for you so you can know exactly where it comes from. So this is powered by unimport, so it's the same engine as auto import, but you can opt in to say it's like automatically injecting it, because when you do it, it will it will have a ESLint error to say unimport auto import entry ref, and when you save it, it auto fix and it'll adding the ref. So that will be same as use Nuxt app. When you save it, it'll import from hash app.nuxt. So you don't need to worry about it, and you always got the right import. And that's something you can opt in. And if you prefer to always have the import statement, well, that you can still have the benefit of like writing any import you want, and it will be imported automatically. You don't need to handle this manually. And and also like this is something that can help you migration. So if you are already using auto import and then later you decide to not using it, and it'll be like tedious to import all the statements but manually by this. But if you have this thing, you can do it automatically. So this is based on after this module being out, you can have this unimport feature, and you enable it, and we will generating this ESLint config, and it will be having this, and we're generating all the auto import registers to your app, and then we can reuse this information to check this rule and auto insert the import statement for you. Yeah. I hope this is I hope I made it myself clear. And I know there's a lot of things. Yeah, so basically I think the ultimate goal is like we can generate some best practice for you. So for example, like disable the rule. Sorry. In Vue we have a rule to say each component should have only like composed word, shouldn't be single word. But for our pages, it's kind of more like that way. So we can disable that rule for that. And for layouts, we should enforce this only no fragment is being used. And for server, we ensure there's no client side function being imported, and etc. So so hopefully that's we can generating like on opinions ESLint config you can extend from that, and then you can adding more config as you want. Yeah. All right. So these are a few things I've been working on, and yeah. All right. I think we're good, and let's call it a day. And have a good rest of your day. Depends on where you are, and yeah, I guess I will see you on Thursday. And I think Thursday will be maybe the last episode before Christmas. So so yeah, I'll see you. I'll see you today after tomorrow. It's the day after tomorrow. Yeah. What is your console extension? Oh, you mean the shell extension, right? Yeah, see you on Thursday. And yeah, so for shell, you can have a link here. Yeah, you can have a ANTFU and use. And here I think I have a, where is it? I have a dot files, and you will see how I configure my Zish. So yeah, I use all my Zish and Zish. So yeah, you can find out yourself. And yeah, and I'll see you on next Thursday. Bye.